Metal rules.
Metal rules. Yeah.
With well, parts of Apocalyptica. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
But the better part.
Yeah.
Well, that was implied. I mean,
Yeah.
You know.
My name is Eicca.
And I'm Perttu.
So, welcome back to London.
Thank you.
But a bit of a difference from the lovely warm Caribbean
Yeah.
sea.
It was colder in Toronto in between already.
We actually came from Toronto last night. Yeah. So this has been an interesting promo tour. We played this metal cruise. That was the first time for our band to be on board. It was a lot of fun, and then we were shooting videos, and now a lot of interviews for the new album, and we are like excited like never before.
How was it on the cruise? Brilliant way to start the year.
Yeah, actually it was much better than we expected. We were a little bit skeptic that if it starts to feel claustrophobic, but it was actually really nice. A lot of great bands and good gigs, and people were nice and behaved well. A lot of boozing, It's still a great positive atmosphere through the whole trip, and it was of course it was nice to have an off day in Jamaica,
Well, as off days go, if you
Except
have
that
to.
actually
we played a show in the
we had
same
a concert
evening.
in the same evening.
Yeah, so it was not
day.
kind of off day, but in a way it was kind of off day.
It's better than my half off days.
Yeah.
But then, because you're off to Australia, so it's going to get warmer.
Yeah.
In a bit anyway.
And then to Mexico.
And
then it's already spring.
We will be all over the place.
I'm really starting to just like you with your lovely places you get to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it may be even difficult to keep on track. Like, I have no idea where we will be tomorrow, basically. But it's cool.
But actually sometimes it sounds nice. Oh, it's nice weather there.
Yeah.
But the days might be so busy that you have no use for the nice weather.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always coming from Finland north. It's always nice in the middle of the summer that you can even see a little bit of sun.
I think that this is lovely now because we are very happy for the album, for the product we just made, and therefore it feels so great. Like go to introduce it to people and now talk about it, and then we are like eager to get on real shows to play new material for the fans and getting the release. And just like I would say that this reminds me when I was like a teenager and excited about the entire metal thing, and we started, and it was nice to fool around when we were kids with this thing. So it feels kind of similar at the moment. We are so freaking on fire from the recordings and stuff.
That's good because it's your 8th album.
Yeah.
You're going to 93. It's great that you've got that now because it's been a really long time.
Yeah, it's amazing actually to look back that because the starting situation was we didn't expect just nothing of the first record, and we didn't even plan to form a band. We were just a bunch of friends who played metal for fun, and where it has led us during all these years. It's amazing to look back because there were a lot of times that people tried to push us down and ignore us, and it was especially after the second album it was like, this is fun for a second, but it's a novelty thing and you can't go on, and we still went on and changed the style and wrote new music for us, and been all the time able to develop the thing album by album, and it was good. And we personally feel that the whole thing and the music we make is getting all the time better and better, so it's really cool.
Well, what was the stage when when you were starting out? So all the people that you played and all the places that you've been, what was the moment? Do you remember when you suddenly thought, "Damn, we're getting there. We're getting to that point"?
I don't know. The very beginning was kind of strange when we released the first album in May in Finland, and later in other countries. Same year, '96, we already opened for Metallica, and it was kind of absurd. Since it was kind of our 5th show with a new album and already opening for Metallica, and that was crazy. But for me personally, maybe the third album, The Cult, we did it with such a passion, and we were really, I think, beside this 8th album, it was one of the albums that we really really wanted to change the direction as a band, and we really went to studio. We knew exactly what kind of record we want to do. We were in a fight with the record label. They tried to sue us during the recording because it was a complicated thing because they forgot to confirm the option for that album, and they wanted to force us to. They were flying in fucking Dante Bonuto from UK to Finland to tell us, what we should do, and they wanted us to make a third album, to be also a cover album of different kind of AC/DC, whatever. We thought, fuck you, we want to do something more exciting for ourselves, and so it was really like the album was like a big fight, and it was really, we made a band record, and then when the record was ready, we started to sell it to a record company, and. It reminds me, and for me personally, I spent so much time on writing the music and running the band. We got into fight with the management, so I did management for a while, beginning of 2000. So for me, it started with absolutely a full-time job on that time. Perttu still had his place in Helsinki Philharmonics, and Paavo has a lot of students, cello students, and little by little, everybody gave up, from the other day jobs, the safe jobs. And just to focus on this, because we just started to got the strong feeling that this is what we want to do, and this is something that we can find new levels of making music, and we can educate ourselves to be better musicians and stuff like that. So
somehow this Shadowmaker period, it reminds of those times, because after the 7th Symphony we toured like for a couple of 200 gigs. We felt strongly that we need a little break, first real break from this during our entire career. So that was about to give us some new perspective for the whole group. But I think after this break, we got together as like the same way as in the beginning, as like friends who want to play music, who want to do some cool shit, and. That can be heard in everything now what we did, because we were free of any outside pressure. We didn't have a record company this time. When we started to compose, when we started to even pre-production, everything, it was kind of like we just do now what we totally feel. What is the 2014?
We had a great feeling in the band before the break. It was not, the break was not because we didn't come along. It was like everybody was great, but making albums on this conceptual way that we have a lot of guests, there were all the time too many things of decisions or scheduling the single releases and stuff like that, doing promotion was depending on so many other people outside of the band. So it was very necessary to. And actually, when we started to record this album, we didn't have a record deal. So we just went. 4 of us, we made a decision. Okay, if we want to make a pure band record, we need to get a singer in. One singer who is doing the full album and touring with us. And we found Frankie, and we made a big progress with him because the first time ever we had a singer who was available all the time for us in rehearsals. We could really do pre-production and arrange the songs together with the singer. That was a new experience. And then when we were like a solid unit, 5 of us, then we got Nick Raskulinek in as a producer. And then we just really made album. We had a clear vision, this is the way, this kind of album we want to make. And then we just locked ourselves into the countryside in the middle of the woods, close to Nashville in Franklin, and did the fucking record. And the record came out exactly how we wanted it to be. And it was, I think that you can hear it from the album that it's quite solid piece of music.
Yeah, and I feel that the most of the like brave or more those solutions that are more courage.
I think arrangements and stuff like that is more
Absolutely.
interesting than in the past. And
we didn't play safe side so much.
Not at all. We didn't have to please anybody. We always did how we wanted, but then when you have so many different elements, too many different people everybody has their opinion what the band should do. That was kind of, we wanted to get out of that tube. That was the reason for the break. That just time out. Fuck you all. Let's get some distance to the band and come back after 1 year and see what kind of feeling we have as a band, what kind of music we want to do. And the album is a completely great result of that.
Well, it sounds like it's taken it back to sort of how it should be.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Getting together.
We wanted to get all the power back to us, because it's in the final end, it's only about us. The whole fucking band is all about us. And then it was so much about depending on the guests, and the focus was all over the place, on Corey or Till Lindemann or Gavin Rossdale, or it was
All of those.
It was really unfocused.
They have been, of course, amazing things to do, but we really still wanted to feel like we felt in the beginning that we are the group.
And we
are
create
the
the music.
Yeah.
We are the core. And once we know exactly what we know, then we can share it with
Therefore,
others.
it also strongly feels that Frank is there present strongly, but somehow, actually, for me, his presence just like enlightens the cellos even more to be there in a frame, kind of.
You
Yeah,
get
no,
them there as well, all the time, all the way through it,
Yeah.
so you can get
Yeah.
all the feedback while you're doing it.
Yeah, and I think
this is so much
it's
more clarified.
Yeah, he's much more organic part. His vocals are much
Yeah.
more organic part of the band sound than what we were able to create on the collaborations. Those were great, but as an album structure, having so many different singers, it also a little bit
It's like a
you lose
buffet.
the focus a bit. Even the
Yeah.
songs itself, they are great, but in a connection with each other, it's kind of hard to follow. And it's not so clear, the vision. I think that with the Shadowmaker, it's really
And we've only
Tight.
had only a little teaser of it.
Yeah.
But so I was listening again this morning. Really, really good, especially with the vocals. It's a nice change that sort of goes through it.
Such a
Yeah, and he has great-
versatile
Yeah.
vocalist, like able to sing so many different nuances, styles, screaming, but also the most fragile,
very
sensitive.
really
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's most of the way through it.
Yeah.
It was very, very sort of subtle.
Yeah.
Then right towards the end, it just went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something in his sound is kind of woody,
He's a great storyteller. Like,
Yeah, it's really
Captures
touching,
you,
and there's some connection with the cello sound, that
Yeah.
that feel it's really magical.
It's got quite a gritty aspect to it, which I think works really well. It'd be
Yeah.
good to see it live. Because I've only saw you at Bloodstock the last time I saw you.
Yeah,
And I'd heard of you, but I'd never sort of gone to see it.
yeah.
And you know how it is. You got people running around the stage doing singers, and they're like, it's 4 cellos. Classical, so I suspected it really sort of stayed, and you were just like there everywhere, picking it up, moving it around. Oh, very energetic. Are you got any plans to extend your European tour to come back to the UK?
Actually, we
yes,
have
yes, for sure.
great plans for it, and it should be in the end of this year, but we still don't know the exact frame and how.
I think
but
UK
yeah, we do.
most likely will happen in the beginning of December.
Yeah.
That's actually it's a lot. Because we had to change the plan schedule a lot because we were delayed with the album, and we originally planned the release for January, and then the European tour was booked for April, and now we have to postpone it to the fall, so everything is kind of running a bit late. Not late, but later. But I think hopefully we do club shows in December. That's the plan at the moment.
Well, that was
And if it's not December, it's gonna be picking up next year, because anyway, from now on, it will be 2 years of touring.
And the delays were just dependent on it. We wanted to bring the world the best possible product ever, what we can deliver, and therefore many solutions. We just couldn't rush with the stuff.
Yeah, because in some
And
point
then-
in the spring still we thought, okay, we start
Yeah.
recording end of July, and in the end of
Exactly.
July we just felt with the producer, no.
Now we need to start.
We're not
the
ready.
practice.
Let's do pre-production.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
proper pre-production first, and then have some time, to practice more the songs, and if necessary, write new songs, and then start the record. So it was actually first time since Cult album that when we started to record drums, we knew exactly what kind of record we are going to
Yeah.
make. And of course, things still change in the studio, but it was not like on last album, Mikko went to record drums
We didn't have
to
all the
LA,
songs.
and while he was doing the drum session, I sent him new songs in, demos of new songs. If you like this stuff, track the drums, and actually maybe the one of the coolest songs they came in like in the middle of the album production. So it's really stressy to make an album like that, and also with the guests, it was always. We always were talking with more guests than what we had on the album. If we had 4 guests on the album, we had actually 6, 7 guests. We were, had the song for them, and then trying to get, all the pieces with record labels, managements together to see timing and everything. And it was sometimes in the middle of the recording, we didn't know which songs are going to happen. We thought, okay, this and this is all okay, but still we're waiting for these 4 guys, to see what happens with those songs. And their performances. So it was really nice to make the album this way.
But also for the Shadowmaker, because of the entire structure was so clear already before that, it kind of feels as an even like a musical concept album in that sense, that it's so freaking somehow naturally bound together with all the different emotions, but still we are not jumping now from place to another just randomly. It's somehow a story.
It's even a full album. It's more solid than the sampler CD.
Yeah.
What you have, it's missing like two very important big instrumental tracks, and it's having actually one song which is not going to be on the shorter version of the album. So it's a little bit balanced, a little bit wrong, you know, what the final album is going to be like. But of course you get the feel of the sound and you know the how the everything.
Of course, we were thrilled like working with Greg Fidelman, like unbelievable mixer guy. So
yeah, he really was able to get exactly the sound we were looking for.
my personal good example about how I feel about the last product was when I heard the first Greg Fidelman mixes at home. I didn't believe that it's us, because you know we play cellos. We come from Finland, like some suburbs of Finland. Imagine, far away, very minor.
Suddenly the album sounds like
suddenly you hear this. I know this song, but this sounds way too good that it could be us.
Well, we spent like 2 months on the mixes because we tried different guys, and you know, because Greg was not available in the very beginning, and then we found out, oh, he's not getting right, and we was like, fuck, you know, we don't care. It costs money, and we need to postpone. We need to still postpone the release. We have to move the release because we were like, no, we feel that we have great songs. They're recorded great, and we can't fuck it up in the mix. So we have everything is like here. So we need to just push to make it to the final end exactly like we wanted. So that's why we're really happy with the album.
Yeah. You can't rush it. If you've got all those elements together.
Yeah, suddenly you're spoiled by it.
It's only going to annoy you every time you play something if it wasn't quite right.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a very passionate project to make the record.
Of course, from I've only had a small part of it. What is sounding an absolutely fantastic album to Angry Birds.
Who would have guessed?
Theme tune to Angry Birds.
Yeah, we did.
How did that come about?
Well, they are also from Finland.
Yeah.
The game company contacted us because they were releasing this new season series, this country games, and they wanted to start with the Finnish game. I think they are coming up with other countries as well later on, and they just wanted us to make the version for that version, and of course we were in. We all love the game, and you know, it's. We are very proud about their success. In a small country.
I was happy that one of the main newspapers had an article: 2 Finnish prides uniting there. I thought, okay, Angry Birds. Yeah, it was Kauppalehti.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
They are one of the biggest things in Finland, and we as well. Okay.
Yeah, but so we were very happy. Felt honored to be asked to do that, and as you know, sometimes you don't need to take music always so serious, So it's fun.
Did you see the video? It's fun.
Yeah.
I love the bird at the end. He just sat there looking so unimpressed.
I love the fact that our drummer looks like those birds.
Yeah.
His nose relates to the.
Yeah.
I smell like a pig.
You smell like a pig, and okay, I don't continue.
There's a good sort of breadth of those things, from that to Angry Birds, but then for the opera, the national, Finnish opera.
That's one.
That's another hell of a thing. We just barely finished in Nashville and had to start to do the other one, but of course
we are almost finished with the opera as well.
But
we've been really creative.
I would say that at the moment we are so passionate musical lovers that it's just like going in the same flow, that, when you get into the mood of making music.
But I think that's going to be interesting. Kind of, I hate the word crossover, but it's it's not going to be metal opera. It's not about having drums or guitars. We don't use that. We want to use the traditional tools of opera to make a modern opera, and actually the opera feels to be kind of romantic actually, or musically, because we are able to write beautiful melodies and stuff. Also for Apocalyptica, we have always on Apocalyptica records we have had actually got romantic songs beside this heavy metal thing. So I think the opera will sound really like we are, that we both grown up totally like in a diverse world. We've been always big classical lovers and big metal heads since we were kids, and it's those parts are not separated from each other inside us, so that makes kind of interesting. At least we feel that it's going to be interesting piece of art.
Absolutely.
Is it going to be a series of nights, or is it going to be a one-off?
One-off for now. It's one-off. It's a new story written by.
No, it's just they have
totally
like 8
new.
to 10 performances. If that's what
Yeah.
you meant. Yeah.
And of course it can be performed somewhere else.
No, but it's not a one-off. Like
No, one-off show. No,
yeah,
but it's.
It's in the next season, like January 16th.
I think it's 8 to 12 performances
Yeah.
what they counted in now. Around the premiere.
Probably some reprise later on. And
If it's good
hopefully,
enough,
yeah.
then it can be performed wherever.
That's
in
Covent
UK.
Garden, yeah.
Yeah, Covent Garden.
Opera House.
Oh, yeah.
If
No,
it's good
I'm
enough.
booking my flights to Finland for next
Yeah,
January.
yeah. But at least it's something different. What's being used to be at opera.
Well, it sounds like maybe if you're looking at it that way, that you've come back and you're completely into it as you were. So all these things are now coming at you, and more things are going to come your way. Maybe next is going to be a national anthem you get to write.
Yeah, I would love to do that because I'm so bored of the Finnish anthem already. Or maybe we should do it for Germany.
German anthem, yeah, that should be
Because they kind
replaced.
of have to change it anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's see. It's fun to do projects on the side, but the downside is that the schedules are so hard to control. So when things just move, like our album production, that kind of smashed our schedule with opera completely, and it's been quite hectic months. Finishing the album mixes and at the same time trying to write something completely different, to a different concept and different world and different way of thinking and approach. So it's kind of bipolar, like sitting in the 2 chairs at the same time. But it's fun. It's fun. But it's a certain amount you can do things beside Apocalyptica, because it's so much. We will have 200 to 240 shows with this album, and that's enough work for 2 years,
Just a bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
you could fit in a
just a
few
bit,
more
yeah.
shows, couldn't you?
And all our other stuff, and maybe should at the same time already write the next album, and there will be always little side projects, always.
You're making me feel tired just listening to your schedule. Well, because you've been going for so long, and before we finish, if you could do a Bill and Ted thing and go back in time and speak to yourselves when you were just starting out, what would you say to yourselves?
I would say do exactly as we
You
already
did.
did.
Yes.
And don't change anything, because of course we are here because of all the steps, whether them being forwards or backwards. Everything has been needed
I think it's
to
been
achieve as a band, but also as a person.
from the very beginning. We've been very hard to push our vision through and push against the negative feedback and or the atmosphere that people don't trust in you or your vision. So we've been pretty good on pushing. That's why we exist. So I wouldn't change anything on that.
Yeah.
I'm happy for my life, how it has been and how it has went. So I wouldn't change a thing.